The fallout of WrestleMania 41. Ladies and gentlemen, the chaos that unfolded after WrestleMania 41 has completely shattered the WWE universe in ways nobody could have predicted. WrestleMania, the grandest stage of them all, was supposed to be the culmination of some of the most intense rivalries and storylines in WWE. But what happened after the event has set the stage for something far more explosive, unpredictable, and destructive than anyone could have anticipated. Now that WrestleMania 41 is behind us, you might think the dust would have settled by now. Maybe the tension between the top stars would ease, and fans would find their bearings. Maybe a few surprises would emerge, but nothing too earth-shattering. But WWE had other plans. The WWE Universe was in for one hell of a surprise when the blue brand, SmackDown Live, aired just days after the spectacle of WrestleMania. What we saw on that show will forever change the landscape of WWE. Now, you might be wondering what exactly happened. What could be more chaotic than the fallout from one of the biggest nights in wrestling history? Well, buckle up, because the shockwaves that hit SmackDown were felt by every fan and every superstar in the WWE locker room. It was not just a fallout, it was carnage. And it all started with a simple announcement. Or at least, that's how it was supposed to be. Let's break down the madness that took place, starting with the centerpiece of SmackDown's main event. Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman, a shocking pairing. For weeks leading up to WrestleMania 41, rumors were swirling around the WWE universe. Was Roman Reigns going to make a shocking return? Would Seth Rollins finally lay down his plans for the future? And, of course, fans couldn't stop speculating about Paul Heyman. After his betrayal of CM Punk and the massive shakeup at WrestleMania, people were dying to know where his true allegiances lay. Had he turned on the tribal chief? What was his relationship with Seth Rollins now? And more importantly, how would this impact the power dynamics of WWE? The stage was set. SmackDown had been teasing a major announcement all week, and the social media buzz was deafening. Seth Freakin Rollins was about to make his first appearance after aligning himself with Paul Heyman at WrestleMania, but this wasn't going to be a regular segment. This wasn't about Seth coming out in his usual flamboyant coat, jumping into the crowd, and leading them in a sing-along. No, tonight was different. It was going to be a serious moment. And when the lights went down and the spotlight hit the ramp, fans could feel that something monumental was about to unfold. The anticipation was sky-high. But then, the arena went silent. Seth Rollins' cold, calculated entrance. Out came Seth Rollins, but something was off. Gone was the man we were used to seeing, full of energy, swagger, and his infectious charisma. Tonight, he came out in a plain, black outfit. No fireworks. No dancing. Just cold, serious determination. His eyes locked onto the crowd, his face a mask of intent. And then, behind him, was Paul Heyman. The once loyal advocate for Roman Reigns was now following Rollins like a shadow, clutching a microphone in his hand with an almost nervous demeanor. For those who thought Heyman might be a puppet in this arrangement, tonight's segment was about to prove otherwise. This wasn't just Seth Rollins taking the stage, it was the start of something much bigger. Seth stepped into the ring, paced slowly, absorbing the atmosphere. The crowd, unsure of what to expect, hung on every word. Finally, Rollins grabbed the microphone. And when he spoke, everything changed. He said, "Everything you thought you knew was a lie. The last few years? All a game. Roman Reigns? He became predictable. Weak. Blinded by his own ego. And he paused, looking at Heyman. I wasn't here to play around anymore. I'm here to take over." The room went dead silent. Fans looked around, some even in disbelief. This wasn't the Seth Rollins they knew. This was a new Seth Rollins. The architect had returned, not just for the spotlight, but for total control. And then, the bombshell. I'm done with dancing for your entertainment. I'm here for everything. The power. The title. The future. I'm here to build the new era of WWE. And it all starts tonight. Heyman's betrayal and new allegiance. And there it was. The betrayal that no one saw coming. Paul Heyman had walked away from the bloodline. He had walked away from Roman Reigns. It was a decision that had been quietly building over time, but this revelation came like a slap in the face to fans who had followed Roman's rise to dominance. The idea that Paul Heyman, the man who had carefully crafted the bloodline's empire, could just turn his back on it was unfathomable. And yet, it had happened. Why did Heyman align with Seth Rollins? The reasons were soon revealed. Paul Heyman had grown disillusioned with Roman. He had become tired of Roman's ego and the way he had become consumed with power. Heyman wasn't a man who liked being taken for granted, and Roman's refusal to acknowledge his role in the bloodline's success had left Heyman with no choice but to find a new partner. Seth Rollins, the cerebral competitor, had promised Heyman not just a seat at the table, but the opportunity to shape that table. The future of WWE was at their fingertips, and together, they were about to turn the wrestling world upside down. The fallout, chaos on SmackDown. But just when fans thought they had wrapped their heads around this shocking turn of events, SmackDown Live delivered the absolute chaos that nobody could have seen coming. The night began with a sense of tension, but nothing could have prepared the WWE Universe for what was about to unfold. As Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman celebrated their new alliance in the ring, the lights went out once again. A series of strange, cryptic images flashed on the Titantron, images of the bloodline, Roman Reigns, and then, something else. When the lights came back on, Roman Reigns stood at the top of the ramp. The crowd erupted, thinking they were about to witness a confrontation of epic proportions. But then, something even more shocking happened. Roman Reigns, with a twisted grin on his face, slowly started to walk toward the ring. However, he wasn't alone. Behind him was none other than JUSO. JUSO, the former member of the bloodline who had turned his back on Roman at WrestleMania 41, had now returned to confront Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. The tension in the arena was palpable as Jay, standing beside Roman, looked down at Heyman. The look in Jay's eyes said it all. This wasn't just a confrontation. It was a declaration of war. The shocking twist, Roman Reigns' new plan. But Roman wasn't here to fight. No, he had come with a message. A message that would shake the foundation of WWE even further. Roman Reigns, in an unprecedented move, extended an olive branch to Seth Rollins. He didn't demand a fight. He didn't call for war. Instead, he said something that nobody expected: if you want to take over, then come. Join me. We can rule together. The offer was shocking. Roman Reigns, the once dominant ruler of WWE, now proposing an alliance with Seth Rollins. Fans were left stunned. Could this be real? Was Roman Reigns ready to share the spotlight? Or was this part of a deeper, more insidious plan? The chaos only escalated from there. As Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman stood in the ring, contemplating Roman's offer, the lights once again went dark. And this time, the WWE Universe knew it was far from over. What would Roman's next move be? And more importantly, what would Seth Rollins do next? The chaos continues. Ladies and gentlemen, the WWE Universe is on the edge of its seat. The fallout from WrestleMania 41 is far from over, and SmackDown has proven that WWE is no longer about alliances and predictability, it's about power, control, and chaos. Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns, JUSO, the lines have been blurred, and the battle for supremacy is just beginning. Will Seth accept Roman's offer? Will the blood feud between Roman and Seth escalate into a full-blown war? Or will Paul Heyman's machinations tear them all apart? One thing is for sure, WWE has entered an era of uncertainty, and we're all just along for the ride. Stay tuned, because the chaos is just beginning. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, so you never miss a second of the madness. The war for WWE supremacy is about to get even more brutal, and we've got you covered with all the latest updates. If you thought tonight's story was wild, trust me, what happens next will blow your mind. So don't stop now. Click on the video right here on your screen to continue the chaos, the drama, and the inside scoop only we deliver. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and join the Wrestling News CC family, where the real stories of WWE come to life. See you in the next one.